welcome to the Easily Excitable podcast. My name is Topham, and with me this week is Adam. Hey man, how's it going?
Yay, I'm good. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I've eaten a few jelly beans, which brought us on to a point that I kind of want to get to immediately because I think it's rather amusing. So you were like, I want to eat jelly beans as a cereal, or just like with a spoon in general.
Yeah, disgusting.
And then I was like, oh, that reminds me. I frequently buy chocolate raisins. I say frequently, once a month or so. So it's kind of regulated. It's not actually that frequently, but it's with frequency. So I don't know. Anyway, I buy chocolate raisins. I put them in with my breakfast cereal. I'm like, yes, this is a brilliant idea for ruining a day. Because you're then just like, sugar with sugar to start my sugary day.
I suppose it depends what kind of cereal. Like, when you said that, I was thinking like, oh, you know, that sounds really good with some like muesli or some like fruit and fiber. But if you're putting that in like Cocoa Puffs or something.
No, I put it in with just my granola. But that's like, good. Yeah, it's good. It's a lot of fun. The problem is then when you're just like, well, if I'm adding chocolate raisins, I might as well have ice cream instead of milk. And it's just, yeah, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's like there's an episode of the IT Crowd where he's like, oh, what did you have for breakfast? Smarties cereal. It's like, oh, I didn't know they made a cereal. It's like, oh, they don't. It's just Smarties in a bowl of milk. And I've always wanted to do that with custard creams as well. Oh. And for anyone who's not from the UK and you don't know what a custard cream is, man. You should just fix your life, and that's what you should do.
Yeah, make it your life's mission to visit the UK and have custard creams.
I love custard creams. I was saying this the other day because I'm quite a spiteful and terrible human being. And when the inevitable heat death of the universe happens, I could choose one thing other than myself to survive, it would be custard cream. Me and custard creams for eternity. I'd be like, I'm okay with this. And yeah, but I know that the one time I do it, it will change everything. Because if it's good, that's bad. And if it's bad, that's bad.
Yeah, like I said, it's a slippery slope. Because you're then just like, yes, I have all these terrible ideas and terrible things to eat for breakfast, which will ruin my whole day, because then I'll be off. On sugary hot fire for the rest of the day.
Then it hits like 2 p.m. You just pass out. Oh no.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's just bad ideas. Anyway,
functional people.
Yeah. So recently, we've both independently been to gigs. We've both seen Devin Townsend, I understand, which we both saw very different gigs. And then we both seen Dream Theater, which ostensibly is the same gig.
Yeah.
Apart from something that I'll get to later. Let's start with Devin Townsend, because that was easily a month and a half ago at this point of time.
14th?
Fair enough. It was the 17th. It was the 17th of March for me, in London.
It was around. Yeah, it was something of March.
So yeah. And I guess the show you went to, he was like, I'm going to play lots of songs. From a whole bunch of different albums, right?
That was correct.
Okay, what kind of things did he play? Because I saw the show where he played Ocean Machine in its entirety, which was awesome, but they only got 3 other songs and they played them all from Transcendence. While it was an amazing show, and afterwards Devin was like, he got to the end, there's a final scream on that album that just goes, it's just a big noise, and he just like basically collapsed on stage. He was like, that was emotional. And it was awesome. But yeah, I have no real idea of how the band is live with their current material rather than just one album's material.
It was a good mix of stuff from just across. I think there was something, I'm probably going to be missing an album now in my head, but I think there was at least one song from every Devin Townsend project album that they played. But I don't know if you saw the video that was going semi-viral that was shared around on a few of the metal websites. But at the show that I was at, the front of house went down. The PC that runs their backing show crashed. So halfway through a song, there was a load of just distortion and noise coming from the PA. Yeah. And they finished the song. They were like, right, we have to reset the entire PA. So that's going to take about 10, 15 minutes. So they had to turn off all the PA, so he did like an impromptu, just like talk with the crowd, like acoustic thing.
Nice.
That people were filming. And I had a little moment of claim to fame where he basically gets the guitar and he's like, right, there's no mic, so he's like, I'm going to sing, but it's only going to work if everyone's like silent. And everyone kept yelling stuff and trying to claim, like everyone was like yelling song names and stuff, and I was getting really annoyed, so I just screamed at the top of my lungs, just shut up, and just everyone went silent. He just pointed at me and was like, yes. And I was
awesome.
like, yay. Silence lasted about 2 seconds, but
yeah.
it was funny.
That's like when I went to the Royal Albert Hall show, and yeah, he comes off because he did Lucky Animals. He's just like, yes, I want everyone to do big jazz hands in the air, like when we get to a part of the song. After the show, he's like walking along the front row because it was filmed and it was an awesome show. And he was speaking to everyone that was down at the front row. He gets along to my dad and he's just like, your jazz hands were the best jazz hands. And my dad was like, ah! I was like, ah! It was awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. There was a video, I think, that was from the Barrowlands show here in Glasgow that got cut down. It's like, it shows the bit where the PA fails and then there's like a hard cut to the bit just after I've screamed at the top of my lungs and destroyed my throat to him doing acoustic stuff, and the crowd just impromptu went into Lucky Animals. And he's like, "Oh, I guess we're doing this."
Oh, that's such a fun song for shows. It's so good. But yeah, yeah. What did you make of the whole show? Like, I guess if they're playing something from every album, it's gonna be nice and varied.
Yeah, it was good. There was nice variety, and it was a nice mix of like heavy stuff and lighter stuff. You could tell that his voice was tired because through almost all of Super Crush and Kingdom, he basically just didn't sing. He was like, crowd, you got this. My throat is dying. So, which is fair.
Yeah,
but yeah,
Kingdom's like my favourite song as well.
Kingdom's just awesome.
I just wish I'd seen him play it this year. But yeah, they played 3 songs from Transcendence and everything else from Ocean Machine, and Ocean Machine was just insane. And yeah, by the time they got to us, they were just like, we are so ill. And yeah,
it's hard, but were the supports the same for that show, or was it just Ocean Machine?
We saw Leprous and Tesseract as well, so yeah, I guess the same supports, who were both excellent.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see Leprous live for ages.
Yeah,
and I just got blown away.
Yeah,
like, those guys are amazing.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect going in because I hadn't heard any of their music. Like, once it got to the end of their set, I was just like, Apple Music, click, click, click to add all those albums. Ooh. Because that is certainly interesting, intense music that's a lot of fun to listen to.
And their vocalist nailed it. Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
8 weeks on tour, and he was killing it every night from everything I've heard.
Yeah, he was just absolutely incredible.
Pretty monster. And then Tesseract, where I think we've both seen Tesseract live before.
Yeah, I've seen them plenty of times. But
so it was, I knew what to expect. So
yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is cool. They played some new stuff.
Stuff from Polaris, yeah? Or new stuff?
They played some new stuff.
Oh.
They were like, here's some of the stuff that's going to be an album for.
Oh, yeah, I remember them saying something about that. Yeah. Sorry, I was very ill at that show. Like, I was hopped up on medication and just, like, sitting next to my dad, because my dad is a massive Devin fan as well. And, yeah, I was just there trying to stay awake and trying to stick through the gig because, I was not feeling too hot. And, but, yeah, like, I think I remember everything, but obviously when you say, yes, there was some new stuff, I'm just like...
five minutes of a several-hour show a month ago.
Yeah, I know, right? So,
it was pretty funny after their PA failure, after about 10-15 minutes. The song they came straight back into was Planet of the Apes, which is like 14-15 minutes long, maybe.
Oh my god.
And it's funny, just because halfway through, Devin basically just stopped playing guitar and singing, and he was just like, I have no idea where I am in the song. And the band just keeps going, and then there's an intro. There's like a bit where it stops and like comes back in. He's like, okay, I know where I am now. My bad. And he was like, I don't have any excuses. Song's long, hard, confusing.
Yeah.
Had to stop for 10 minutes. Leave me alone.
Oh man, yeah, I can guess. Like, if you're playing a long set and you're taken out of the rhythm of it, like, yeah, you don't know where you're going. But oh man, it just makes, like, listening to Devin's music always makes me go, what he's doing is, I don't want to say simple because there's depth and complexity to the whole thing that he's doing, but when you break it down, it looks and feels easy to play when you're going to, like, learn to play bits. Like,
yeah,
I think one of the only songs I've learned in its entirety is Hyperdrive.
Yeah.
and I have no idea how I can like remember that song from start to beginning. But if I start picking the guitar up and playing it, it's fine. I know the whole thing. But yeah, I don't know. There's something about it. It's not technically demanding. The solos are challenging. I'm not going to try and emulate any of the solos that he can do because my guitar skill is, I would say, not up to scratch. But that's just because he's been playing for so many years.
Yeah, it's kind of like a muscle memory thing. I
Yeah.
think it's very much like you're used to, well, this follows this, which follows this, which follows this. It's like when you try and do something you can do all the time slowly.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, no, how does it go? How do I do that?
Yeah,
You
it's
have to
like
think about what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like when I'm at Taekwondo, and it's just like, yes, we're going to do these patterns, and we slow everything down. We're going to do it by count. I'm just like, I don't know what move comes next. Like, if we're doing it rather just on our own timing, rather than by count of the instructor, I can do it fine. But when it's like, do it move by move, I'm just like, don't know what move comes after this. I just like freeze, watch the higher grades, the more experienced people. And I've got...
That's what I was doing.
That's what I should be doing. Oh, this is a kick, not a punch. Oh. Ugh. So, yeah.
Who knew?
So, yeah. And, yeah, Devin Townsend is a musical genius, and we sing his praise every time we talk. And so, yeah.
But, like, is there anything wrong with that? No.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, he's just one of those people who I admire
Mm-hmm.
in so many ways, and I think he's someone who's really interesting, and not to get too away from the music stuff, but I think he's a really interesting person when he talks about like mental health and stuff. He always talks about how his mental health conditions throughout his career has been a big part of his music, and it's really interesting him just like talking about the way he deals with things and the way that he can look back at his career and move forwards and stuff. And I think that's just something that's really interesting. I mean, it's really generic, as they say, that creative people are all the people who are all messed up, but
Yeah, he said at the end of the show as well that he's like, yeah, we've got one more show and then we've got 4 weeks off and I'm not going to touch any instruments. And then he was like, that's not true. I'm going to have a guitar back in my hand 2 days after I get home. And it's like, yeah, we know what he's like.
It's just going to be a different guitar.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. So, like, on that as well, like, he was like, he's got a new pedal coming out, kind of. It's not really the Moore Ocean
one.
Machine.
I want one. I want 5. I want 9 of them taped together.
Yeah, I want one pretty badly. But it's kind of expensive, so I've tried to kind of replicate it. I bought myself a chorus instead of a reverb, but that was kind of intentional as well.
We're a product of an age. That's why
Yes.
you bought a chorus.
Yes, that's very true. That'll come up later as well.
true.
But yeah, I bought myself a chorus and a little delay pedal. I've got a tape echo as well, and I want to get a reverb as well. But there's a very particular reverb that I wanted to get that I know is way out of my price range at the moment. So yeah, I bought myself a little delay pedal, which is awesome. It's surprisingly functional for £25. It has 3 controls on it. An echo control, which like. That one determines like how loud the echo is and like how much it'll tail off. And then, no, that can't be right. I don't know. And then the other one's a feedback one, and I'm trying to remember which one does which. So there's a timer one in the middle, which is the big one, and then there's an echo and a feedback one. And I'm trying to remember which way round the echo and the feedback ones work. The feedback's the volume of the next one that plays, and the echo is just like...
Yeah, the amount of delay.
Yeah. And, yeah, it's a mighty good pedal, like I said, for £25, and I'm just like... It's a delight to play with. Pair it with a tape echo and a chorus, and ooh, you can make so many fun sounds.
I absolutely love delay and reverb, and again, we're both huge fanboys. Neither of us try to hide it here,
No.
so we're not crazy. But Devin Townsend has spoken about his relationship with delay and reverb, and you listen to his earlier stuff, and everything's like just dripping with reverb and delay, and everything I do is the same. I really like. There's something really nice about. Maybe it's just because I'm so ADHD, but it's here's the note I played, and then 3 seconds later I'm like, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I can still hear it. Cool. And it's like infinite reverb, and I like echoey spaces, and I'm always a child. If I'm ever in a cave, I'm always the one who's like, ooh, and listens to it bounce back. That's always me.
Yeah.
And I just think there's something really nice and musical about, as they say, like the sound between sounds that you can kind of just hear. And that's just something I obsess over because I'm a loser and it's cool and it's fun to be a loser.
Yeah, and then I got a an MXR micro chorus as well, which is the chorus I was just talking about, which does the chorus effect, which I really don't know how to explain it other than it just like thickens up the guitar sound by effectively doubling it a little bit, and then
it makes it sound more 80s. It makes it sound like everything Asia ever recorded.
Yeah, it's basically an 80s stomp box, isn't it? Bonk, 80s on. But in combination with a delay, you can get some funky things going on. Especially like if it depends on like if you're playing chorus into the delay or the delay into the chorus as well. So, and I've also been using my. What have I got? I've got a loop station as well. So I can just like capture a 3 or 4 second loop of something and have it playing repeatedly. So I can just like strum a chord and then it will strum every 3 or 4 seconds, and then I've got time to like play in between. Or I can record longer things as well, like a sequence of chords, which is what I've been doing a lot of, just to practice my lead work over the top, which is practically non-existent. But yeah, the chorus has definitely like helped me find the sound that I was looking for. I think a reverb on top of everything would then make me go, oh, everything is complete. Oh, the world is perfect. But yeah, oh man, I even got distracted from the point I wanted to make as well. Like Devin Townsend's brought out the more the Devin Townsend more Ocean Machine thing he's got is 2 delays and a reverb as well that you can put in any order you want, which means you can create these massive soundscapes and like play with it. And like there's a demonstration video that he does, and it just makes me go, well, I just want that just forever, please.
Yeah, I like basically every clean tone that I've ever done, I always go like, oh, this needs reverb, and I'm like, but it also needs delay, and this needs more delay. Now this needs chorus. And I'm just like, yay, happy play.
Nice. I tried to emulate it on the Line 6 pod farm software.
Yeah.
Not to much success, really. I'm just trying to figure out how to get it to work, and so that I can like create these sounds and try out some interesting things, but it doesn't seem to be working particularly well right now.
I think it's just infinite experiment. You keep making mistakes until you realize you either find a mistake that you like or something that's maybe not a mistake.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's I don't know. Making guitar sounds is weird, but it's rewarding. Yeah, that's what I try as well. Hence, I've now got a delay, a tape echo, and a chorus, and a sustainer, compressor, and a loop station, and then I can just do all the things I want to do. Nearly.
Pedal addiction is a serious problem, and I think people don't acknowledge how much of a problem it is. Non-guitarists will never understand what it's like.
Yeah. I mean, these are the first pedals I've bought in probably 4 years, maybe longer.
Interesting.
I might have bought my amp more recently than I've bought a pedal.
Cool.
And I've had my amp for a long time. Which means I was in serious need of some new pedals. Hey!
Is there any particular piece of gear, but more specifically pedals, that you kind of just bought going, yeah, this is cool, and then when you've actually used it, it's totally changed the way you think about it? Like, is there anything you've been like, oh wow, this is a lot more than I was expecting?
I think, and this might sound weird, but the compressor sustainers actually got me more, like, I don't know, I was using it to like sustain when I didn't really need it to, and that. But the more I've used it, the more I understand how it actually works and how it fits into things. So I think I've got more value out of that. I got given like as a present tape echo that I've gone over with Spencer on one of these podcasts before, and learning how to use tape echo when you can't change the timing of the echoes. They're fixed. I have 3 buttons where I can choose like how long the delay is going to be. It's either immediate, within about 0.1 of a second, and then the last one, which is, I can't remember, it's probably about 430 milliseconds. And that one, learning how to play it and use it effectively, and then recognizing that it's in so many pieces of music that I really enjoy. For example, it's really noticeable in the solo for War Pigs by Black Sabbath, like the one near the end. And then recognizing it was in there, and you can see like there's a bunch of you can hear that there's notes following, but no, it's more like you hear notes early, but it's the echo one that actually has the volume on it. Yeah. So that's just a really fascinating solo, and figuring out that I can do that with the tape echo that I've got, like that's just learning how to use a tape echo effectively is just infinitely fascinating. How about you?
I love tape echo, like just in general and everything. Just 'cause I'm a real like 60s, 70s fanatic. Like, it's funny, you see on the internet everyone always wants to recreate certain sounds, and like the drum intro on "When the Levee Breaks" by Led Zeppelin, really classic big drum sound. That's just all tape echo. And everyone's like, how do I do that? It's like, it's just a delay. And everyone's like, what do you mean? You don't put delay on drums? And I'm like, well,
they did.
Sounds cool. But I have a real fascination, and everyone in my life calls it an addiction, and they're right. I need help with like just really shitty distortion pedals, like really cheap ones. Oh, right. So I started collecting these Digitech grunge pedals, because you find them for like a tenner, like everywhere. And it's this really like nasal, disgusting 90s scoop, squishy, spluttery sounding thing, which is pretty useless. But I find that if you dial it in just right, with like some like single chords, like a Strat type guitar or something, it just becomes this like chunk monster that does like Insta Pantera in a box.
Oh my god!
So I've used it for like I like really like hard clipping, solid state type distortion. I think just because all my favorite guitarists in the 90s. I grew up in a time when new metal had just stopped being cool, so it's all I listened to. And that kind of sound. So I have this Digitech grunge pedal. I actually have 4 of them.
Oh my god!
And just there's really specific settings on it, which just like, I don't know, I bought one because it was a tenner and it was cheap, and I was like, oh well, I saw someone use this live once and it actually sounded really cool. So sure, I'll give it a chance. And after actually just twisting all the knobs all the way left, all the way right for hours and hours, and being like, holy shit. Like, it's one of those things where 90% of the time it sounds god awful, but 5% of the time it sounds okay, and then the other 5% of the time it actually sounds good. Yeah. And then within that there's like a 0.01% time when it sounds amazing. Yeah. There's something really fun about just trying to find those. But yeah, that and just compression. I like understanding the creative uses for compression rather than just going, oh, well, this just pins this here and makes it do this. Yeah. You know, where it just turns your signal to a block, and it was like going, oh, well, I can actually use that for a certain effect and to do certain things, and how that affects what comes before it or what comes out after it is kind of fun. But that's just always the kind of stuff that interests me, is like, I get that sound is A to B, but it's getting from A to B and where things twist and change. It always blows my mind when you see bands who are like super creative with pedal boards. You see some where it's like they have 900 pedals and you can see them pressing stuff and you're like, the sound didn't change at all. And there are other bands where they have 60 pedals you've never seen before, and they press one, then they press another button and everything's different, and you're like, wait, what happened? There's a cool band called Terra Melos, who they do really like electronic dubstep type stuff with live guitars mixed with like rock stuff. And it's just, you just see them, they'll keep pressing pedals, and suddenly you're in some kind of like dubstep landscape, and then 2 seconds later you're back in a rock song. It's like, how? What? Stop. No.
How has this happened? Yeah. I think another thing that's interesting as well is you can get different effects from your pedals just by putting them in different orders. And that just blows my mind. Like, just like, it's just, we've got these effects, they do these things if you like do them one at a time. And then if you do 2 at a time, but you switch the order of the 2 that you're using, you can just create something entirely different to if you had them the other way around. And then when you get more and more pedals into the mix, the possibilities are endless.
And it's really weird because you might immediately be disheartened. You get something brand new and you're really excited to use it, and then you plug it in where you think it should go, and you're like, well, this sounds terrible. And then you have to like piece everything apart and go, right, well, where should this go for it to do what I want it to do? Where will it sound best? And how can I make it sound a certain way? Yeah.
So that was why I spent my morning doing yesterday. I ended up with just using 3 pedals rather than 5 or 6 that I've got. And I was going just compressor, into chorus, into delay, into the amp. And then I had the loop station cut into the loop of the amp, but that's where it should be because you need the whole sound to have gone through everything to get the sound.
Unless you want
there.
Pure goo.
Yeah, it's because it's going to get really muddy and messy real quick. And yeah, like that one seems to be working for now. I'm switching the delay and the chorus around very frequently to see which way round I prefer things. And to be honest, I can't tell which I prefer. I can tell the differences, but I can't tell which I prefer. Because you get... Yeah, no, I'm just going to leave it there because I can't explain what I've been encountering recently.
Yeah, it's kind of like, especially with like modulation and time-based stuff, it's a real feel thing. Like even if the sound isn't that different, you can really feel it, and the way it reacts might be totally different. Mm-hmm. And you just find yourself going, oh, well, I do this kind of thing if it's done this way, and it really feels X, and then you swap it around and you go, oh, well, it feels completely different, so I find myself doing this kind of stuff. Even when someone who's listening is like, it sounds the same. And you're like, yeah well.
Yeah.
But I like pedals. It's cool that all these guys are moving to Axe effects and all these gazillion pound electronic units. But pedals are fun.
Yes, yes, they are.
And speaking of Axe effects, one of the dudes who made that famous was the good old John Petrucci.
John Petrucci of Dream Theater. What? How did we get here? Okay, we're gonna wrap it up there. We were just talking about Devin Townsend. Next week, we're going to talk about Dream Theater, and then subsequently a whole bunch of other random nonsense that we just kept blabbing about. But yeah, Adam, where can we find you across the internet?
I'm on Twitter at AdamCastle13 and on the RT site, Attitude13, or generally on the internet lands, Attitude Castle. Any combination of these words and or my name, you might find me.
Awesome.
Maybe.
Awesome. I can be found across the internet at Etherfort or at Destroy Totham. I'm pretty much on a social media hiatus at the moment, so it's
Likewise.
just gonna be like automatically generated tweets and other messages from around the place. But yeah, I can be reached like direct messaging me on any platform. I should respond, but that's about it. This has been the Easily Excitable podcast. Thank you everyone for listening. Goodbye.
Woo. Bye.